Welcome, one and all, to the first episode of Popcorn and Root Beer, brought to you by IBT Media. I am so excited. Let me start by introducing my wonderful co-host. I'm going to start to the person who needs no introduction to those on Twitter who follow her. We are here joined by Trash TS Sandwiches. You can call it Trash. You can call it Trash Sandwiches. Probably the only person on the planet who enjoys being called Trash. What's up?
Hello, hello. I think it's really funny. Please do call me trash. So happy to be here. We are going to have a lot of fun, I think, on this. I will say I'll try and stay true to my word. I think I have kind of trash takes in TV and movies and music. So, I'll get roasted. It's all good. We're here to have a good time.
We're here solely for the vibes. We basically bullied our boss into letting us do this. So, and also joining us is the man who has infiltrated the company and is already on a podcast like 2 weeks after joining. Jake Parry, what's up, man?
Hey man, you know what? I got the opportunity to join IBT and I said, get me in podcasts. I'm going to start doing golf betting props. I'm here. I'm taking over. This is no longer IBT media. It's JBT media. I don't know it's Jake between.
Jake between. So you came on to be, I brought you in, right? So like, for those who want a little behind the scenes note, I run the entertainment side of IBT. I bring Jake in. He's my first hire that I brought in myself. And he immediately jumps and makes golf content. Doesn't even put one article out for entertainment and immediately puts golf content out. The audacity of this man.
If it makes you feel any better, the golfer that I picked to finish top 20 finished one shot outside of the top 20. So
that doesn't make me feel better. It just means that
my first
talent
for was
prediction,
trash.
Your first prediction for it, just whatever. Let's get into some movies and some TV shit, shall we? Let's talk about what we've been watching lately. Frankly, I've been watching a shit ton of shows lately, a shit ton of movies lately. I'm sure you guys have too. Trash, kick us off. What have you been watching?
So recently I've been doing a little Avatar rewatch after the last Airbender. To be clear, this is not the blue people. This is not the movie. Never. Anyways,
little Atla love right now.
Yes, exactly. We need some more Atla love in the world, so I'm just giving that. Which we don't need to talk more about that. I think it goes without saying. We all love. The other thing that I watched last weekend, specifically in the weekend, binged it. Nobody Wants This. It is a Netflix original TV series. Kristen Bell, Adrian Brody. Forgot that he was a Kardashian Jenner part of that clan, was reminded.
Is he really?
Yep. He is, yeah.
I've never gotten into the reality TV stuff. Trash TV is not my trash TV is not my stuff. Shit, I think I missed an opportunity. Honestly, at
same, but segment name. Funny, yeah, but I don't do that kind of trash TV. But yeah, anyways, the show is pretty good. It is the premise is a rabbi and a sex podcaster meet, fall in love. It is kind of your adult love. You got your shitty adult complications, whatever. Sure. But it's pretty cute. I don't know. I liked it. It was it was sweet. It was a good, I binged it in a weekend, and this was also a weekend in which I had 2 all-day meetings. So big binging. It's not that big of a lift, but you're getting into the cozy vibes.
You know what? Sometimes you just got to binge it. I also binged something new that just dropped on Netflix. Netflix having a big run right now on the IBT family. Also, speaking of the IBT family, guys, thank you so much for joining us for our first ever show. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, show some love, comment, tell us we're stupid, whatever you want to do. You can be as negative as you want. You can be as positive as you want, honestly, because it's all engagement to us. Let's be real. So Netflix has had a big run, though, for the three of us, or at least me and you, Trash, because I also binged something on Netflix this week. I watched Heartstopper Season 3. I watched it entirely on the day it dropped, which was October 3rd. And that was a Thursday. Thankfully, I was not working that day. I woke up early. It dropped at 3 a.m. I will be honest with you. I did wake up at about 3:30 in the morning. I had gone to bed at about 2, trying to make it. And I was like, you know what? That seems a little insane. I'm gonna go back to bed for a little bit and then just really binge it. I woke up at 7, started watched the first episode, instantly knew this is gonna make me cry. I was already there, right? Like I was prepared and I was like, I need a coffee, got up, went to Starbucks, came back, watched the next 7 episodes in order, like just banged that out, told everybody I knew, don't bother me, because I'm not a human today. Like whatever I am to you, I'm not today. And I just sat on my couch, cried, and loved every second of it.
I still give you props though. You were no longer crying by the time we recorded the Take Two podcast at about 8 p.m. or not 8 p.m., 6 p.m.
Yeah, I had to get it together. It was tough though. I won't lie to you. I and then like a psychopath, I rewatched it over the weekend, season 3, because then I was writing a review about it that'll be coming out on IBT, and then now I'm like, I'm just gonna rewatch the whole series. I'm in. Like I am committed to this show. It's like my favorite little gay show on TV. Like the books are right behind me. You can see them like right here. Like I'm in. I am part of the cult. I've drank the Kool-Aid.
So I will say I have thought about watching it or reading the books, and I've always been hesitant because I'm like, I don't know how much capacity I have to just cry entirely through a show.
So you won't cry much through season 1 and 2. Season 3 hits like a fucking hurricane. That's probably not the word I want to use right now, but it does. Like it hits so hard for no reason. Like they didn't have to do that to me, but it I will give it the show props. It portrays the queer experience and the mental health side of that so well. Alice Oseman, she is mother right now. Jake, what are you watching? Are you also on the Netflix train?
I am. So I actually have 2 shows that I've watched a ton of recently. Number one being the Monsters, the Eric and Lyle Menendez story. Mostly because I was doing an article for that for IBT as well. That'll be coming out eventually. Perfect timing. Steve messaged saying, anybody want to write about this? And I was like, I literally just watched episode 1. Please let me write about this. So I watched that all the way through. I've got opinions. I'll save those opinions for those of you who are interested. Go read the article once that's published. But the other thing is, my wife and I have both been rewatching shows. So she's been rewatching Scandal for her. So I just let her go watch that. And then throughout my workday, throughout when I'm doing research, recordings, anything, usually I'm watching recently The Walking Dead. So I started from episode 1. I'm currently in season 8. So I've definitely been grinding that out, but you know, it's been a while since I rewatched it. I haven't even seen seasons 10, 11, or 12. So it's a rewatch until I get there. And then I get to watch, you know, the last 3 seasons live, and then I can go watch all the offshoots. So I'm going to be on that train for quite a while. I can tell.
You know what? I loved The Walking Dead when it first came out. Like the first 3 seasons, like you couldn't peel me away from the TV when it was on. And then I don't know, it kind of fell off for me. But
see, I actually think I like, not too many spoilers out there for those who haven't seen them, but right now there's like a bunch of different settlements that are fighting, for lack of a better way of describing it. And I think that's like my favorite mini storyline that they've done, because
I wish I stayed with it. I just after the prison, right about, I kind of was like, all right, I'm going to go away from this for a bit.
Yeah, the conflict at the prison I felt was extremely dumb, but the current conflict that I'm watching through is exactly how I imagine a zombie apocalypse would go, where like everybody would find their groups, and then inevitably those groups would either have to fight or be friends, and there would be no in between. And so it feels like the more realistic way of this whole thing going down, because also I just think there's no way that the guards in a prison wouldn't just be like, this is ours now. We all brought our families here.
Right. Nope. I agree. I think that's how it would go. Also, we're not sponsored by Netflix, so I'm not giving them all the love. I've also been watching Agatha all along. Either of you checking out the Agatha series?
No, I need to though, because I loved WandaVision.
Oh, if you loved WandaVision, you have to watch Agatha all along. It's so good. Big fan.
I've been planning to get it started, but The Walking Dead, my ADHD, I started watching it and I was like, I got to finish it now. Can't start something.
Yeah, you got that hyperfixation. All right. Well, you know what? There's gonna be a lot of shit going on in this show, guys, and you're gonna get a lot of music. So let's start with our next segment. We'll go into the forecast. All right, so we are going to give you guys a forecast. Listen, we are going to talk about a lot of odds and some betting here on this show. It's probably the only entertainment show, movie show that I know of that really actually does tackle like betting and try to make you money. So that's really what we're here to do for you. Our odds are presented by BetUS. You can sign up with the link below in our description, and your first $50 gets matched in free bets. If you're a new user. So if you use our link, you get $50 in free bets, which is kind of nice. I'm all about free money, so that is pretty great to me. So our first bet is actually going to be Trash. This is your pick, and we'll see if we agree or not. But it's Moana 2 at the box office. The question is, over or under $200 million at the U.S. box office its first weekend?
If you like money, you go over. Because I think it's going to hit the over. I pulled up some stats. I did my research, came prepared. Moana won $248 million. That was in 2016. So now let's look at kind of the recent initial sequel thing. We have Inside Out 1, 356, and Inside Out 2 that just came out was $653 million. That is a huge jump. I'm not going to say that Moana 2 is going to have that big of a jump, but I do think that you get that sequel and it's either going to be great or it's going to be a flop. And I think Moana 2 absolutely has to be great. And I think the people want it. It pulls in all those demographics. It is a very good story. It's cute, even if you're not a fan of princess movies, but also if you are a fan of princess movies, it is. I don't know. I'm excited, and I think it's going to be very big. And they'll get $16 from me or however much it costs to go to the movies these days.
Oh my God, it's so expensive to go to the movies these days. It really feels like $200 million isn't even that much money to make at the movies anymore because, I think it cost me $16 a ticket or $14 a ticket, which is a lot of money for a movie.
Yeah.
I had to invest in the A-list at AMC because I'm not forking out $14 a ticket every single time. AMC, you should sponsor our show though, because I'll plug you. Doing it for free right now like a fucking fool. But yeah, I agree. I think I'll go with the over. So Inside Out 2 made $155 million in its opening weekend in the US, and that was a surprise to Disney.
My number's coming from.
I got this off of Google. Maybe I'm wrong. It made 295 worldwide, 155 domestically, and that's a pretty good number. But I think Moana 2 will overperform compared to that because that was a shock to Disney. They were not expecting Inside Out 2 to do the numbers that it did. It really picked up steam, which is weird to say because its opening weekend was huge. Word of mouth was huge. I think Moana, the original, was so good that I'm going opening weekend to Moana. Moana has a special place in my heart. I won't lie to you guys. I am a huge Moana fan, so much so I even got my little Maui hook that I wear all the time. I have tattoos of the Maui hook. I'm in, right? So I'll be there. And a lot of people feel the way I do. Maybe not quite to the level of permanently altering their body to have it, but it's there. Jake, what do you think? Over under $200 million opening box office.
See, I want to say over, but I believe in the 10th man principle, and in terms of this podcast, it's the third person principle, which is if everybody agrees on something, if you're in a room with 10 jurors and you are the 10th juror and all 9 vote one way, it is your responsibility to vote the other way, just in case you can convince somebody that maybe they weren't 100% correct. But I'm still going to go the over here. It's Moana. Sure. It was an instant classic. I do lean the under here when I was initially looking at it, just because that would be one of the bigger box office opening weekends we've seen since COVID really happened. Since then, the box offices have definitely not been, what they were peaking at prior. And non-Marvel movies really have struggled to an extent in the box office. However, if anything can do it, it's a Disney, a princess movie, for lack of a better term. These types of movies are always super successful because, especially with, being Disney adults. I'm a Disney adult. I think I have to classify Steve as one now. Trash. I don't know if you are or aren't, but
I don't know if I identify as one, but I kind of am.
No one wants to identify as one. It's just, are you a fan of Disney as an adult? I am. Yeah. I'm a mega fan. Like, I love
it.
So, like, not only does our age demographic really want to see it, but also anybody in our age demographic who has children, they inevitably take the kids to go see it. Even if the kids have already seen it once. Like, I saw Frozen 2 in theaters like 5 times. Between me wanting to see it with my wife wanting to go see it again, and then her siblings wanting to see it, and then her mom wanting, like, we saw it so many times. And that's where something like this can hit that over, is it just very, very frequently happens with this style of movie. So I think the over is the responsible bet here.
And I also think this is one of those kinds of movies that relates to like every age group, right? Like it's not like, it's like, it's a kid's movie because it's a cartoon, but also like it just has those stories that like kind of like you can't miss on your demographic, right? Like, what's your demographic? Everyone's had family or questions about themselves and like self, journeys, like journeys of self-discovery is the word I was looking for. I mind blanked there for a second. This movie just feels really like it's gonna make me cry, it's gonna make me laugh, it's gonna make me sing. I'm ready.
Also, I'm just it's occurring to me because I was gonna say, like, that's the Lin-Manuel Miranda like principle of like the journey and the family and the whatever. He's doing the soundtrack again, is he not? I mean, I don't know that anything when
he's not. He's not.
Oh, that might change things. Although
so that was the real like Disney really quietly let that slip. They were like, yeah, Lin-Manuel's not doing this, and have not like addressed it since. He is not doing the music. I trust it anyway because Disney. It's not like there's no one else who could do this. You know what I mean? Like it just won't be Lin-Manuel, right? That's an interesting change, right? An interesting departure from the first one. I'm curious as to why that happened. But Disney gets.
He wants too much money. He's too big now.
Yeah,
but it's Disney. It's not like you're running out of money. Pay the man.
I know, but
it's
still.
Disney. They're gonna save $1 where they can.
I guess so. That's crazy to me that they do that. But all right, so that's enough of the kid shit. Let's talk about some death and gore and despair, huh? Gladiator 2 is coming out. A movie nobody asked for, in my opinion, but it's happening. We're going to talk about the odds here of the number of deaths in the opening 10 minutes. Your options are, and Jake, I gave this to you. Is it 0, which is going off at plus 130? Is it 1 to 10, which is going off at plus 170? Or is it 11 or more bodies going off at plus 190? For those of you who don't bet, by the way, Trash, both of your options were at minus 120. For those of you who don't bet, plus money means they are going to give you your money plus X like percentage. It's like a whole thing. If you don't know what it is, go punch in $5 and see what it'll pay you out. And you'll kind of get the idea.
The easiest way, when I always describe gambling to people, if you think of a flat dollar, so if I bet $1 at minus 120, if that bet hits, I am getting my $1 minus 12 cents back. So I'm profiting 88 cents if that bet hits. For anything plus, so if I bet $1 at plus 170, I am getting 1.7 times what I bet. So I am getting $1.70 back. Just general rule of thumb there.
Listen, I was an English major, okay? And I avoided math. I don't like math. I don't do math. I'm a nurse now. We don't really do that much math, right? So
plus odds because it's plus money.
I got two smart people on this show for a reason, right? Because sometimes I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Jake, your numbers.
Let's talk. Jake's got the numbers. Jake, how many people died in the first 10 minutes of this movie?
Yeah, so I'm riding the 1 to 10 at plus 170 here, and I'm entirely basing this off of Ridley Scott as a director. So in a good majority of his movies, there's at least one person that dies within the first 10 minutes. And if you want to metagame this even further, the last movie that he directed was Napoleon, which came out in 2023. It is also a period piece.
Love it.
Clearly, if it's about Napoleon Bonaparte, it's not about right now. Much like Gladiator.
That'd be a bold choice if it was.
Movie idea. Anyways, so I'm going with Gladiator also being a period piece. And in the Napoleon film, the first on-screen death happened less than 3 minutes into the movie. So I'm going to guess that he continues that trend. But also, if you just go like through a lot of his movies, like Black Hawk Down had a death in the first 10 minutes. Kingdom of Heaven did, which is again period piece. It's just kind of a thing he does with period pieces. So I'm gonna guess that he continues to ride that train, and based off of Gladiator 1, I think anything over 10 wouldn't really make sense because a lot of the Gladiator fights are very one-on-one in the arena. So I think the 1 to 10 range, also probably your safest range to be in, just largest number of likely outcomes. I'm going with that one, and it feels free. It feels like that should not be at plus 170.
Okay. So I've seen the previews for this movie quite a bit, and there seems to be a war that is fought. This movie seems to be a post-war, like post-conquering kind of thing. I'm wondering if he's going to open with this massive battle. So my money would go to the 11 or more deaths, because in my head, I'm like, how do you logically start this movie where this person's out for vengeance for his like people? And he's like, I want to kill the general that like conquered my land. It just feels like it could be a bloodbath to me, which I hope it is. I want the kill count in this kind of movie to be in the hundreds, right? I'm there to watch people get just torn apart. And I think that's what's going to happen. My money is firmly on the 11 plus, going at plus 190, which is the worst odds. Trash, how many people do you think are getting offed in the first 10 minutes of this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one does have more of those one-on-one fights. I do think this one will probably be a departure with bigger battles. I think that there will certainly be some of those big scenes. In the first 10 minutes, though, I don't know. You need more exposition for that. I think it is going to be that 1 to 10 range. I'm thinking like 3 to 5 people or something. But yeah, I don't know. It just feels like that's the safest range of outcomes. That being said, maybe there's 0. I don't know.
They have a lot of really good actors in this movie. Like they have Denzel in this movie. They have Pedro Pascal in this movie. Like I'm wondering, here's where the 0 may sneak up and win this fucking thing, is they just have Denzel monologue for 10 solid minutes. You laugh, but it could happen, right? Like think of like the Equalizer. Like the Equalizer, I don't think anybody dies in the first couple minutes of that movie. Like it's kind of crazy because if you're gonna use Denzel, right, you're gonna have him talk like a lot. Like, is there a possibility that we get like a narration and follow like the main antagonist for a little while through the opening shots of this movie?
There is, but there's also a chance that the narration includes scenes of battle, which is
it could.
I was gonna say it's very likely.
If it involves scenes of battle, I think I win. If it involves scenes of battle, I think I walk out of here.
Battle, but not necessarily combat.
Well, a battle, right? Like they're not talking about like, main characters who die, right?
This is
just anonymous henchmen. You have 6 people fall off a fucking wall, and I'm halfway there.
But what do they count as a death? Do we like physically have to see them? Like I've seen people get hit off of a horse, and we just assume they're dead. The way I'm looking at it
is like Saving Private Ryan, right? Like that number is like 150.
Valid.
Right, like you're like you don't have to see that. Like I don't need confirmation of death. Like Jonathan, are you alive? No.
Silence.
Okay. Like
what I'm saying, dude. Like, do I need to see somebody get stabbed? Like I saw a rhinoceros in the trailer.
You know what? I'll go on way too long if I talk about what every friggin' animal. That was also an option. I was like, what animal appears first? The options were insane for that thing. I should have done it. I didn't. I should have.
I will add one more piece that adds some credence to the 11 plus. So there were 130 deaths in the original Gladiator movie, and the movie was 155 minutes long. So if you do the math, that's about 1.2 deaths per minute.
Yeah.
So if that law of averages follows out,
I'm right there.
Either way, I don't think it's 0. I think that 0 line should be like plus 500, and the death number odds should be closer to.
That's the best odds. That's so strange to me. Whatever. All right, let's talk about a movie that almost nobody asked for, but I did. I Know What You Did Last Summer 2. U.S. opening weekend box office over or under $18 million. The over and under are both going off at minus 120. I'm going to say boldly that this will make slightly over $18 million. It is coming out on October 30th. People are going to be in a spooky mood, and if they are not at the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I think they might make their way to I Know What You Did Last Summer 2. Trash. Do you agree?
I think that no, I think it's the under. I think that spooky movies need to come out like I just don't think that the spooky movie timing is right for Halloween. It's not the weekend, is it?
No, it's not. It's October 30th is
like a Thursday?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah. And it comes out on October 30th. I mean, maybe, but by then people are in like post Dia de los Muertos mood. I don't know. I'm going to go with the under. I never saw the first one. I'll be perfectly honest.
I was about to ask, did you see
I
Know What You Did Last Summer? You know what the problem was? You know why this may not hit it? Is because Sarah Michelle Gellar isn't in it. She has confirmed that she does not return for this one. She's like, I died in the original. I do not return for this one. And I'm like, no one cares that you died in the first one. You could have come back. We could have had you in it. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care that you were killed off in the first one. I want you in the new one.
But they did a pretty good job with some of the, like, there's some pretty solid, like, bigger names than I would expect in the cast of this movie. Like, you have Jennifer Love Hewitt, you have Freddie Prinze Jr. coming back, Camila Mendes, Madeline Klein. Like, there's some decent names who have some, mini cult followings who may just go see it because they're in it. So
maybe that could happen.
I'm also heavily on the under here. I think this movie.
I was gonna say, I'm like, so are you on the over with me?
No,
so
heavily,
I'm alone.
Heavily on the under here. I just don't think that movie.
Keep track of this too.
There's a reason that the sequel that they actually made was direct to DVD. Like, nobody truly was asking for it, and this being like a legacy sequel.
You can't title something "I Still Know What You Did Last Summer." That's awful. And then it was "I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer." Stop. Those don't even count. Those aren't even canon.
They also made.
You never had to admit that there was a third one.
They made a television show on Amazon Prime that I didn't know about until right now when I Googled it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's
it's not done well since the original
listen, you know what else got a sequel that no one knows about? The Blair Witch Project. So
I like
No, not Blair Witch. There's one that came out immediately after the Blair Witch Project. That was straight to DVD, and it's trash. All right, yeah, so it's trash.
I liked it though. It was fun trash.
It was fun trash. And speaking of fun trash, we're about to go to our next segment. Let's get to the trash heap. All right, so very rarely do we get to have a segment that we call something trash and mean it in a good way, but in this situation, we do very much mean that. And we are going to turn it over to our very own trash sandwiches, and you're going to give us something that's in our first ever trash heap, which is going to be a bunch of movies or shows that we actually are referring to this way lovingly. And yours is
Uglies. Yeah. I think it's like a very appropriate description to call it trash.
Yeah.
So Uglies is based on a Scott Westerfeld book series that came out in like the 2000s. Let me just say, I am a fan of him as an author. Like, I did read the books back in the day. It's, kind of like the Uglies series walked so Hunger Games could run. Whereas that all happened from the Hunger Games, like, book to movie way back in the 2000 aughts and teens. You now have a 2005-ish book series being made into a movie in 2024, and like, it feels very like Hunger Games Divergenty. The CGI is awful, like laughably bad.
Is it really?
Especially like it's fine at most times, and then there's these like hoverboard, hover skateboard scenes. Every single one of them, you're like, you've never seen anything fly before.
Yo, Netflix has been on one lately. Like, I don't know what's their problem is, but like, also they're canceling. Like, you know what? Again, this could be a rant for another time. But honestly, like, I'm kind of mad at Netflix right now. And if they don't renew Heartstopper for season 4 and 5, or at least season 4, I'm really gonna have an issue. I might just cancel the service altogether. Like I'm not kidding, because I'm sick of waiting for Stranger Things to come out. Those kids are gonna be 40 before that season fucking drops. Like, this is getting stupid.
Done.
I don't know if it's done.
I know it's
No. Like, we're waiting for the last season, and they're like, "Oh, they're kids." Like, bro, they're grown people now.
How is it not done?
Just a few more.
That's crazy though, because it started in like 2016.
Yeah,
like they're 9 years older than they started, and they're playing.
2016 is so long ago.
And like they're not time jumping or anything like that. So it's just like we're just supposed to buy in that like these kids that were literal children are like shaving, and they're like, oh well, what a difference a day makes.
And like time isn't supposed to have passed anything. Like it hasn't been
Correct.
9 years.
It's been like a year, like at most. It's rough.
Oh.
Yeah. So each consecutive season. So the first season was based in 83. The second season is 11 months later. Third is 9 months after that. Fourth is 8 months. So we're looking at like 20. I'm assuming there's going to be a month jump. Like, even if we assume like that's what, 28, an 8-month jump, we're looking at 3 years time difference. And we're looking at like baby Finn Wolfhard, baby Gaten Matarazzo, and like them being now, like you said, full-blown adults.
Well, yeah,
because pretending like 3 years
Finn Wolfhard's a solid 1.5 feet taller, right? Like,
they're just gonna put everyone else on risers.
Noah Schnapp doesn't even look like the same person.
True. None of them, honestly, none of them really do.
None of them really do. Like, but at least all of them vaguely look like. Noah Schnapp to me is like the one on that show that like I'm just like, what? Wow, like just aged into someone totally different. It's fine. Whatever, Stranger Things, blah, 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 blah. Let's get to our next segment because we got to keep this moving, shall we? Let's get some Mount Rushmore going. Mountains in the west, the stories will last, the present and past. All right, so we are going to do every week or every show that we do this, we're going to do a Mount Rushmore of some vague random category that one of us comes up with. And after the options were all presented to us, we came up with Mount Rushmore of villain looks in horror movies. So, who would like to kick us off and give us the first Mount Rushmore that they have created? I'm going to throw it over to Trash.
Point of clarification, you just added that villain looks in horror movies at the end, and
yeah, I definitely just did
scary stuff.
Oh, all right.
I definitely just did villain. I saw villains. I went villains.
You went villains straight. I went
looks.
It's spooky season. Get in the spirit. But whatever.
You specifically wrote in our show sheet, not necessarily spooky.
That was sad.
I wrote not necessarily spooky.
Oh, all right. That was
okay. There we go.
I was sabotaged in the show sheet.
I just don't do horror. I wasn't prepared. Like, I dug for some of these other ones to get some horror stuff, and you're gonna hate me later. But
fine. Give us your non-spooky villains and their looks.
Okay. And I will start with a spooky villain, and it is Beetlejuice. I did see that movie once as a kid in like 5th grade. It scarred me for life, but I like kind of want to watch it so I can also watch the sequel, which, fun fact, they did film like an hour from where I live, which is cool. Shout out to Vermont.
Love it.
So like obviously the other one, and this is just, you can't deny the villain look, Yzma, Emperor's New Groove. Disneyland. I'm sorry, she is like with the purple and the color.
So good.
Oh, please.
That's such a good one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to like not, because you're just gonna judge me for going not at all.
No, it's okay.
Any
It's
of
all
the
right.
horror.
It doesn't have to be scary.
Okay. So Killmonger, this is like maybe a little bit of a deep cut, but like as far as villain looks go, it's both, and I'll just like the nude shirted look with the like tats or the scars, whatever that is.
Now, is that because
but also in the suit?
Is that because Killmonger is a good-looking villain, or because Michael B. Jordan is just a really good-looking man?
It is all of the above, but also he has a cool villain suit too. But also, can you dispute me if that plays into it?
No, I can't. Like, if this was like, we said villain looks, I didn't think attractiveness scale. Listen, Michael B. Jordan can get it.
Also cool.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So this last one is not at all based on attractiveness then. It is Dolores Umbridge, Harry Potter.
Oh, you can't get down with Dolores?
Pink Chanel suit. No, it's like the villain look. A pink Chanel suit as a villain look is iconic.
It is iconic. She is kind of iconic as a villain.
She is.
But I hate her so much.
Oh, you have to though.
I mean,
and
yeah,
like
but
that poor actress just must go through her life catching like strays all the time. I don't know how it would have felt being cast in that role though, because she's described in the books as being Toad-like in appearance. And if someone was like, "You'd be perfect," I'd be like, "Get fucked!" Like, don't what? Like, I'll fight you.
I hope that I don't know. I always worry about that when they like cast people based on book descriptions.
Yeah, it's
vicious with some of them.
They are kind of rough. Jake, would you like to go next on your Mount Rushmore of villain looks?
Absolutely. So I also went with Killmonger. So I just have to throw that in there.
Fuck out of here.
Yes!
100%.
Yes! Validated.
It's the fact that like each of the scars signifies like something, like someone that he's killed, like he's scarring himself, he's causing himself pain to match the pain that he's inflicting with people. Plus, like, yes, he's extremely attractive, he's jacked, he's scary. I wouldn't want to fight Michael B. Jordan. I'm good on that. So yep, he's definitely in the list for me. And then the rest, I also went a little liberal with this list. So my number 2 was the arachnid species from Starship Troopers.
You in that movie, man.
Dude, it's for being a movie that was made in like the late 90s, you can't watch that movie and tell me that you've seen many movies with better CGI sense. Like, it's so good. They're truly terrifying. And that's where like they get that bump for me, is like, I hate bugs in general. And so if you make one that's 8 feet tall, its body is nearly impenetrable even by machine gun fire, and it could rip me in half without even trying, you win. I'm terrified. I'm there
with you. I also think everybody hates bugs. And I hate a bitch that's like, I'm not scared of bugs. Get fucked. Yes, you do. Like,
I'm not scared of them. I don't love them, but they're like,
like the toxic people who are like, you're afraid of bugs, like they can't hurt you. I'm like, well, first off, yeah, they can. Like,
yeah, they can.
Like, I'll throw down verbally over that. Like, yeah.
They stay in their lane, I'll stay in my lane.
Bingo.
Bugs.
You live your life, I'll live mine. Don't get near me, especially not near my face, or we have a problem. The problem is me having a panic attack.
I can be honest with you. I don't open my windows in my apartment because I'm like, no bugs will get into my apartment this way.
I respect
think the bugs get into my place regardless. But
yep.
maybe that's
my place
is
pretty. My place is pretty good about it. All right, you got 2 more, Jake. Lay them on us.
So these 2, I did go with your more traditional horror movies. So number 3 for me is Leatherface.
Love it.
Just a classic. Really can't go wrong with it. Also, just truly terrifying. I don't want to see a man with a skin mask and a chainsaw chasing after me. So
I just feel like you're definitely in for a bad day if that happens. Like, if you're just like walking down the street, man with a leather like human skin mask comes walking at you, like, I just don't think like that's a recipe for like a good day.
Yep.
Honestly, kill me. I don't
literally.
I'm not into it.
You're giving up immediately. Like, it's like, I'm done.
I'm finding the easiest way out of the situation for myself, and that seems like the easiest one.
I'm running. I'm trying to survive.
Yep. And then my last one is simply because I think it's like the cheesiest thing that was ever supposed to be scary. So I went with Chucky.
All right. Let me say, growing up, Chucky had a chokehold on me in a way that was not fun. I did not enjoy it at all.
I don't get what's supposed. It's a doll.
I was
You can
so
kick it a
scared,
mile.
so scared, terrified. Now, let me tell you, the first movie I ever remember watching was The Exorcist. The first movie I remember watching was The Exorcist. So my tolerance for being scared is pretty high. I was like a 5-year-old, and my uncle let me watch The Exorcist with him. Probably not great in hindsight. Probably explains a lot about how I am now. But nonetheless, Uncle Joel, I see you. Yeah, Chucky had like a chokehold on me. I was so afraid. I was terrified. Like the Chucky movie, the Child's Play movies, I was like, please turn this off. It's too scary.
I just think it's so corny. Like it's a doll.
Now I do.
I could literally kick it half a mile.
Yeah. Hashtag
if you saw
Chucky,
me, if Chucky got within like range for me to grab Chucky, I would turn into an NFL punter so fast.
Oh my god!
And I would just keep doing that.
I
would just keep
by
Chucky.
They are the dumbest people who die in those movies.
Yeah, it's like everybody who dies in The Walking Dead. I'm like, they walk.
Yeah.
They don't even jog. They are walking slowly and their bodies are falling apart.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when a doll is supposed to come at me, but it's also just so iconically cheesy that it has to be on my list.
Yeah.
Oh, the look is for sure iconic.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone knows. Everyone knows who he is when you see him. So was that 4?
That's 4.
Count. All right, sick.
Yep, Killmonger, the arachnid species, Chucky,
Leatherface,
and Leatherface.
Chucky. Got it. Yep. Nope, I talked too much and I forgot where I was. All right, these are my 4, and they're all horror movie people. Because honestly, when I think villain, I think horror movie. That's just where I go. So I started with Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street. To me, that's just iconic. He's burnt, he's scarred, got the sweater, the blade hand, all in on Freddy Krueger. Samara from The Ring.
Yep, that's a great one.
When she crawls out of that TV, scared the shit out of me. Like I almost called my mom to come pick me up from the theater. I was a teenager. I was was I a teenager at that time? I was young when I saw
5.
Was it? I need verification on when that came out because I remember watching it and I was either at a friend's house or the movie theater. And
2002.
So I must have been at a friend's house and I was just terrified. I just remember watching it. It was dark and I was like watching it on like a TV, I guess. So I was like, this bitch is gonna come out of this. She's gonna come at me. She's gonna come get me. Then I went with specifically Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise from It.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one almost made my list.
That's probably my favorite. Honestly, of all of these, like the whole look was perfect. And like what he does with his eyes, like which he can really do, I guess. Like he has like weird, crazy eyes. Loved every choice he made about it. The whole look was perfect. And then rounding it out, my favorite horror franchise probably of all time is Scream, and Ghostface for me is just, that's, you can't do better. You can't do better.
That's just like your classic elementary school Halloween costume for somebody who didn't put in a lot of effort, but you just wear black in the mask.
Yeah, and it worked. Like, and it worked. And I think the simplicity of it was what made it such an iconic look.
Yeah, I agree because I actually think
I
think Freddy Krueger's look was so telling of the time in which it was made. They were like, what would be scary? Let's burn a guy and then give him claws for hands. Like, looking at him now, I'm like, you not scary. I just feel like I could punch you and your face would fall off. Like no level of terrifying there to me, but in the time frame that he was, a thing, it makes sense.
I like the look. I think it was iconic, and like the remake that they did, I know it got a lot of hate, but I think it really modernized the look a lot, and I thought it worked. I was like, okay, I see this. I like that. We don't declare winners in this segment, but if we did, I would declare myself the winner. Just because
the listeners should vote in the comments.
Yeah, drop a comment
who the winner is
below as to who had the best Mount Rushmore of villains. For all you thirsty people out there, though, if you say it was one of theirs because of Killmonger, I will disregard your vote.
What if you don't even have to pick it because of Killmonger, but you can just validate the Killmonger pick?
We've already validated that Killmonger's hot. That is not what we were going.
I'm just saying on 2 of 3 lists, maybe Steve's the one in the wrong, not including Killmonger. I'm just
you
saying.
guys in an October podcast picked non-horror movie villains. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't do horror.
Okay, the only one you could argue was non-horror for me was Killmonger because giant space spiders is horrifying.
Sure.
But also, if you made a Killmonger horror movie, which was just him stalking his prey and killing them and then scarring himself, you can't tell me that wouldn't be a top 5 horror movie the last 5 years. Mostly because most of them have been horrible. But
can I read this promo, please?
Absolutely.
Can we get off of fucking Killmonger for a second? All right. I want to show a platform where you can capitalize on your entertainment knowledge or hedge your risks if you own the stock. It's called Kalshi. It's the first legal exchange where you can trade on any event. I've been using it for a while personally, and that is not just me like promoting it. That is the truth. And I have found it pretty indispensable as I trade in entertainment. They have hundreds of markets to trade on related just to entertainment in general. Box office numbers, Oscars, Billboard Top 100, video games, whatever you're a fan of, they pretty much have it to bet on. And we are proud to say that Kalshi is a sponsor of the show, our first one ever, and we hope you'll check them out. You can sign up using the link in the description. And the first 500 traders who deposit $50, you'll get a free $20 credit. Listen, I am all about free money. That is a good deal because they have odds on anything you think you're an expert on. You can put your money where your mouth is, and we will help you make some money. So with that, it's time to get to our next segment. It's called Kalshi Cuts.
Under the neon lights where the shadows dance, we ride the rhythm, take a chance. Blades of sound slicing through the night. Kalshi Cuts, bringing fire to the fight. Kalshi Cuts, sharp and clean, carving paths in a midnight dream. Feel the beat, let the echoes rise in the heart of the city.
That intro is sick.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. All right. Let's do our first Kalshi Cuts. Again, the link is in the description if you want to make your deposit. Jake, you took on Terrifier 3. Speaking of horror movies, you are saying it's going to have a greater than 85 Rotten Tomato score.
I did. And so I'm basing this off of just so if you look at the Rotten Tomato scores for Terrifier, so the first one that came out in 2016, the Rotten Tomato scores were pretty mid. It was like 53% on the tomato meter, so pretty average. But then when you look at Terrifier 2, which came out in 2022, it jumped up to over 85%. So I'm assuming that if they can continue this growth, we're going to see that number jump up, and we're going to see over an 85 Rotten Tomato score. And this is just me metagaming things live. When I pick this, Steve can vouch, Trash can vouch. I've had this in the sheet for a little bit of time. We've had this sheet going for a while. It's been in there. I just looked at Rotten Tomatoes, and the early tomato meter score on Terrifier 3 so far is at 92%. So while you can still get the money in on this, take advantage of that because we got 26 reviews already in there, sitting above 90%.
I love that.
Manipulate the market while you can and take that over 85% score.
Yeah, we're here to make you money, right? And listen, we're going to bring you all our expert opinions for whatever they're worth to you. In some cases, they may be worth a lot of money. So yeah, 85 greater than 85%. I back that up. I watched the Terrifier series so far. This one I heard is going to be even more extreme. They're going even further with the kills. They're going to gore you literally nearly to death. People are passing out in the theater. They are being rendered unconscious from the shock of what is happening on screen. And I am not a huge body horror guy, but I'm just feeling that itch that I might need to go watch some fucked up shit happen. Trash, any chance we can get you to go to Terrifier?
Not even a little bit. You can see me, for those who are only listening, physically recoil at the description of that movie.
Yeah, that there's some. So Terrifier 2 really is the one that Terrifier came out. Terrifier 2 got put on the map because of the bedroom kill scene, as it's so lovingly referred to. And you can watch it on YouTube if you are so inclined. Please, if you are squeamish, don't watch that. If you get sick at all at the sight of blood, please don't watch that. But our next Kalshi cut I will take. I'm giving Smile 2 a greater than 75% Rotten Tomatoes score. I loved Smile. I loved the marketing for Smile. I want to give a little shout out to how they marketed Smile when they had all those people in the MLB stadiums smiling creepily at the camera. Loved that. Loved what that did to my brain. Scratched a whole bunch of itches. I think the way they are portraying this movie, I think the level of investment they put into it, they realized they had a good franchise. It doesn't feel like they're cheapening it. I think it's going to get a really good score. I could see this being a mid to high 80s Rotten Tomato score.
And I mean, the first one, its tomato meter score was 80. So people obviously enjoyed it. Critics enjoyed it. I didn't. I think the marketing got me like too hopeful for what it was going to be. And then I noticed like far too many plot holes. And we talked about this on Take Two. Like plot holes don't necessarily kill a movie. But for me, in this instance, it did. I was like, there's so many outs. So I personally would love to see it under 75. But if the first one is at 80, I'm hopeful that there is that improvement and people can tail you there and make some money.
Yeah, I think this is one of those movies that will learn from its mistakes and get better. A la Terrifier.
I also
you riding the bandwagon. You want it with us? No?
I think this is also like a horror movie, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm unprepared. I'm not watching these trailers. I'm sorry. This is like the 1 month that I'm going to be a really bad co-host, but I promise when it's not spooky season.
That's all right, because there's other things Apparently, you're an expert on T-Swivel because you are saying that Taylor Swift, Taylor's version announced this year? No,
this is on Kalshi Cuts as well. I like the optimism. It is not realistic. Here's my realistic scenario, and I will just lay this whole scenario out because I didn't delve too much into it, but I know that Kalshi Cuts had a whole bunch of other like Taylor Swift whatever other albums come out this year, whenever. So I don't think we are getting Taylor's version this year. I think that is like early next year, kind of. That being said, there is a chance that we get Reputation this year, and I think we could get Reputation like December.
That would be a great Christmas gift for me. I love Reputation.
Also, can we just talk about how perfect that it would come out for New Year's Day, which I do believe is the last track on that album? No. Sorry, this is why we can't have nice things. But New Year's Day is still on Reputation. So
yes.
I think that we could. But I don't think, and I know that
it is the last track. It is the last track.
It is? Okay.
Oh.
Thank you. I was thinking of the Reputation Stadium tour. Excuse me.
The set list is so burned in her head.
Oh, okay, but I love it. But I do think like you could certainly take Reputation, and I do think that we will get Taylor's version next year. I know there's the like double album theories. I don't think so. I think she has to give Debut proper love.
I love Reputation. That is my favorite Taylor Swift album. I don't care what anybody says. It's her best one.
Reputation.
To me, it's far and away her best. I fuck with it hard.
It's not my favorite. I wouldn't say it's her best, but I do love it. So like, I'm not gonna fight you on it being bad. I'm just gonna I think Lover is my favorite.
I'm a folklore / Evermore girly over here. So
okay, but those are great.
So.
All right.
I agree with you though. I don't think it's going to be this year. The double 2021, 2 albums, 2023, 2 Taylor's versions, 2025, probably the year of 2 Taylor's versions. And I also think Reputation is going to be the first one. I don't think many people don't want to hear Taylor Swift, Taylor's version.
You take that back right now.
I don't know what would change. Like, I don't know if I want
everything would change. She sounds like a little tiny twangy teen.
Yeah, but that's who she was in 2005.
Give me Reputation. I want a Reputation too. I want a sequel. I want a sequel to Reputation. I want another rock album. I want Taylor Swift to go rock.
No, it's the Karma. It's the missing Karma album theory.
Ooh. I want the rock album too, though, because in the Eras Tour movie, there's like a halftime breakdown during Illicit Affairs, and it's my favorite part of the entire show. So I want that. I want a whole Taylor Swift rock
that
album.
moment.
Taylor Swift, if you're one of the listeners, weirdly enough, of this show, or if anybody here is powerful enough to make that happen, we want a rock album. Taylor,
please.
We got one more segment. We got to give out some awards. Let's get to it. We are giving out 3 awards each this week. And we are starting with our Guilty Pleasure Award, a movie that perhaps is not good, perhaps is not something that the masses have loved, but we love. And I'll tell you what, I'll start it off because I stand by this, and I'll say this with my whole chest. For me, it's the horror movie, Dog Soldiers. It is a werewolf movie about a bunch of soldiers who are on a drill in the Welsh, English mountains, essentially Irish mountains, that get stranded in a house surrounded by werewolves, and they have to fight their way out. There is nothing polished about this movie, and I love every second of it. I watch it regularly. I love it.
It's a good one. We talked about this when we did our last Take 2 recording, and you were shocked that I had seen it.
Stunned. I thought me, the cast, and the mom of the cast, the main character, had maybe seen this movie, and that's it. I will scream it from the rooftops that this is probably the best werewolf movie on the market right now. So that's where I'm at. Trash, what's your guilty pleasure?
So I went with a Halloween pick to make you happy because I knew that you would be happy with me otherwise. But my Halloween pick is still not spooky. So I said I have trash takes. One of those trash takes is I love DCOMs. Maybe I wouldn't say I'm a full-on Disney adult, but I'm a DCOM adult. It's Twitches. I'm going with Twitches because fuck Halloween Town. But Twitches is so good, and there's something about it. Okay,
sucks.
Thank you. Jake, we are going to be great friends, and we're going to bully you on every episode.
Listen, I'm not a Halloween Town stan or anything like that. I've just never heard someone be so vehemently opposed to that. Our boss is the Halloween Town,
I know. And I know
Seth
he's
loves
listening.
Halloween Town. Yeah.
No, they're terrible.
Care.
My wife wanted to watch them
bad.
so bad every year, and I'm like, you can watch them. I'm not going to. I'll sit here while you watch it, but just know I'm going to be on TikTok the entire time.
Yep.
The first 3 are pretty good.
They're terrible.
No. Also, if you're going to make a case, it's 1, 2, and 4. The third one, right, where they replace the lead, is absolute trash.
Oh, I haven't. Okay, I haven't seen them in a while. I don't know. I thought they were fine. I thought they were fine. Twitches?
I don't think
whatever.
So.
Jake, what's your guilty pleasure?
Shouldn't surprise you whatsoever, Steve. It's Starship Troopers.
Oh my God.
It's not a good movie. Acting is terrible, but I can't help but rewatch that movie at least 10 times a year.
Is that the one? Casper Van Dien?
Casper Van Dien. You get Denise Richards is in it. Jake Busey, Neil Patrick Harris, Michael Ironside, Dina Meyer.
Okay, great,
great movie. It's also the first movie I ever watched that wasn't a Disney movie, and I definitely saw this movie way too young, just based off of the gore and number of boobs that are shown in this movie. And I saw it when I was 4. So thanks, Mom and Dad. They don't know I watched it. I snuck out of my bedroom and sat behind the couch in the living room while they watched it. I win.
They're going to listen and find out.
They probably know at this point. I've probably drunkenly let it slip once or twice.
There you go. All right. Let's give out another award. It's the John Williams Award, named after the greatest composer of movie music of all time. Trash. Who gets your best horror? And this one actually says best horror movie score.
I know. And I'm still going to stretch it a tiny bit because I just don't know them to know. But Inception, which I think kind of sort of counts because Inception is a psychological horror thrill. Inception fucked me up in the brain.
I don't hate the take.
And this is my tolerance for spooky. I was scarred as a like teenager when I watched the movie Monster House. It's an animated Halloween movie and it gave me nightmares. I can't do it.
You know why you're afraid of
also
horror
gave me
movies?
nightmares, but like why?
You live in the middle of fuck all nowhere, right? Like you are
Yes!
you are in EBF. Like
Yep.
like you're like in Appalachia except in Vermont. Like
Northern Appalachia.
yeah, like it's just like cryptids and shit like walk around there. Like you guys probably believe in the Mothman. Not that I'm saying he's fake, but like it just...
Mothman is a little south of here. This is Champ territory. Excuse you.
What the hell is that?
Also, Mothman is my favorite cryptid of all time.
I
Mothman
wasn't
is
saying
pretty
anything
cool.
bad about Mothman. I was just saying that they probably have it. Like, what is Champ?
Champ is the big lake monster that lives in Lake Champlain between Vermont and New Hampshire. He's pretty cool.
I live
Eric
in
Loch Ness.
Sorry, did I say New Hampshire? Because I meant New York. It's Lake Champlain is between Vermont and New York. Other side.
Okay.
He's very
you know
cool.
what? I mean, if I lived in the middle of nowhere, I probably wouldn't watch horror movies either. I live in a city. So
See, I live in the middle of
alone. I'm getting
cornfields.
murdered.
I live in the
Yeah.
middle of cornfields. Yeah, I'm in
Oof.
middle of Illinois. Everything here is corn. If you've never been to
That's
Illinois,
horror
it's
territory.
95% corn.
Well, I thought you lived on like the outskirts of Chicago. Like I knew you lived in Illinois. I just thought you lived in
But
civilization.
not that part of Illinois.
No, like-
yeah, not like that one.
I should clarify. Where I live now is in a neighborhood that's in a more urban area, but I grew up like my high school had a drive your tractor to school day, and it was surrounded by cornfields. Like that's what I grew up in.
What the fuck? What is happening? Where are
Yeah.
you guys? Who are my co-hosts?
Also, drive your ATV in the winter.
Oh, see, I just drove my
No,
buddy's ATV
stop
to
that.
school for drive your
No.
tractor to school day. We
That's
put a little plow on it when
insane.
we got there. It was my
That's
way of getting out of
crazy.
class all day.
You two are like hillbillies.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right. Well, whatever. Jake, what's your best horror movie score?
Yeah, so this one was a tough one for me. When we did our Sinister review on Take Two, that one almost took the cake for me. But I have to give it to The Witch. They very much like they dive so heavily into like the less is more side of the score, which I think is huge in horror movies. And they really
Love
do a
that.
great job of just like everything is unsettling. And that is what I love about a horror movie score. Like get me, like make the noises disturb me to a level where it's like making anything that happens on screen that much spookier. And The Witch
Trash
is
just
like
no, thank
The
you.
Witch
I
is
don't
like
like
a perfect example of that.
Everyone
I
should
love-
be watching this on YouTube because watching Trash have to sit there and be like, "Oh yes, horror movie take." She's just the entire time like, "No, this isn't it."
I'm
This is
so
not-"
sorry.
Hey, the show is all about balance, right? We talked about it with the
Yeah.
facial hair. You have none. I have a mustache. Steve's got a
True.
full beard. We both
We're
have
out of
long hair.
order.
He doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. My hair's the shortest on the show, and mine's not even that short. So,
It's pretty short.
I mean, it's got some length to it. Like I got.
And for
I have
those
a-
who can't see Jake's hair down, it is roughly the same length as mine. We did compare last time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, comparatively, it's not
A
long, but like you
flow.
know,
Yeah,
like,
my
I
hair's in a bun right now.
I can run my hands through my hair, right? Like, I mean, there's product in it right now. Like, it's kind of like.
I mean, you can run your hands through your hair if you have a buzz cut too, but
I mean, it moves. Like, there's
It
you know,
does.
there's length here.
You got
you have
So-
a great
got
head of
flow.
hair. It's not like we're knocking
do.
your hair.
Let me say about my head of hair. My entire male family is bald. So this is a miracle. This is a borderline miracle.
That's
I have jokingly said, and I say it jokingly, but I'm not entirely sure I'm kidding, that I asked the universe. I'm like, I can ask for one thing in this life, and it was just not to be bald. And then consequently I became gay. So like I think it was like it was a trade.
You got to trade off now.
I bet your mom's dad has a great head of hair.
He
because
doesn't.
Men,
Died
men
bald as an
normally
egg.
get our hair genetics from our
Bald as an egg.
mother's father.
It's not good.
Bald
The-
is he bald by choice though?
well, he's dead now, so I don't know
Well,
what he's
okay.
doing now. Like,
He's bald by not choice.
he died bald, not by choice, just bald. For my John Williams Award, I gave it to Saw. I love the Saw franchise soundtrack. I listen to it in my car. I listen to it when I'm doing work. I will throw it on, and just when that synth starts dropping and really starts pounding, you're getting like the big reveal usually during it, like the twists and the turns and all that stuff. It's like sex on the screen. It's great. I am just absolutely like turned on by it. All right, let's wrap it up. Best kill. And I think I said in a horror movie. I did. Best kill in a horror movie. Jake, start us off.
Yeah, I'm reaching back into the well of our Take Two podcasts, and the more I think about it, Lawn Work 86 from
that was
Sinister.
such a good kill. That was such a good kill.
I don't know, like it terrifies me, and like you could go so many different ways with this, right? Like you could go like most creative, cheesiest, most like there's so many ways you could give this award. So like when I think of this one, it's kind of all of them combined in one. And it's like you truly have to watch the movie to understand the gravity of this, because I can't explain it in any other way than people get run over with a lawnmower, but you have no idea that's what's happening until it happens. And it's terrifying. So that one wins it for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I went with Johnny Depp's character in Nightmare on Elm Street when he gets sucked into the bed and then all the blood shoots out of it. Love it. Iconic. Absolutely. Honorable mention to Drew Barrymore in Scream. Loved that too.
Okay, you cannot dispute this being a horror movie because Rocky Horror Picture Show has it in the name.
What the fuck is going on here?
But it is when Dr. Frankenfurter kills Eddie, and then it's like, oh my god, what the fuck did I do? It was a mercy killing. I do also love Meatloaf, so that's like a little bit biased, but you know,
I love Meatloaf.
That movie
Let's talk about that for a second.
Iconic. Okay, prior to seeing Taylor Swift, Meatloaf was the only big concert I had ever been to because I live in.
You went to a Meatloaf concert?
Yes, I took my mom to a Meatloaf concert for her birthday. It was fantastic. We snuck into like the better seating area. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you and 17 other people showed up. I mean, who's going to Meatloaf anymore? Not that I don't like him.
He's dead, so you can't.
R.I.P.
Listen, rip Meatloaf. Like I don't know. Listen, I like Meatloaf. I think like "Bat Out of Hell," great song. I Would Do Anything for Love, great song, right? Like I can, you know.
But I won't do that.
Right, we love Meatloaf here. I'm not gonna get too graphic about it because I don't know what I don't know how PG-13 Seth likes to keep these shows, but we might push the boundaries a little bit.
But
yeah, a little bit. You have me as the host of a show. It's just gonna wind up being this is not for kids. Well, you know what? I think that's wrapping it up for our first ever episode. Good job, people. Well done. Way to be. To everybody who's listening, if you made it this far, thank you. Please like, subscribe, follow, share, comment. Tell us how dumb we are. Tell us how great we are. Tell us how much money we made you on the Kalshi Cuts and the forecast. We will be keeping track. I will be holding us accountable. And if we gave a take that you disagree with, mainly that Killmonger is a like top 4 villain look, let us know. Let us know in that debate who won. But that's going to do it for us here today. Guys, thank you so much. I will see you on next show. Take care.